Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you happen to be today and whatever you happen to be doing. Now, today, what I would like you to do is just stop for 1 second, whatever you're doing, and send me a lot of healing energy. So, I was invited out to dinner last night and I ate something that my body didn't quite like digesting. So today I'm feeling a little bit sensitive. So what I would love for you to do, whether you believe this works or not, just take a few seconds to focus and just send me some loving, healing energy. I would really appreciate that. And I know from many experiences that I've had, as well as many people that I've met, that this works incredibly well. In fact, I remember one experiment that I read, which was conducted in the USA some years ago, about patients being healed after, or recovering rather, after having serious operations, because they were wondering why it is some patients seem to be recovering really well and other patients weren't, even though some operations were less serious than others. And there just didn't seem to be any particular logic about why some of them seemed to be recovering better than others. And so they actually decided to use this experiment to see if it would work. And they just simply asked people to pray for certain patients, to pray for them to heal, whether they knew them or not. And they conducted this experiment over a number of weeks. And they found consistently that people who were being prayed for, whether they were people who knew them or not, seemed to just magically heal and recover far quicker than people who had few visitors and people who just weren't being prayed for. So I really believe in the power of unity. And I'm reminded over the last few weeks what unity really means, because today happens to be the last day of the holy month of Ramadan. Some of you may know what that is, and that's basically the month in which Muslims all around the world fast from dawn to sunset. Now, dawn is actually first light rather than sunrise, and so it's pretty early in the morning. It's around 3 o'clock in the morning till, if you're somewhere around the tropics, it'll be around 7 p.m. that you stop fasting or break your fast. And if you're actually further north, then you're going to be breaking your fast around 9 o'clock or past 9 o'clock. So it's actually quite challenging to do this. And the idea of this is to basically let go of all the physical things that we tend to hold on to. And that includes eating and drinking. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and to our logical system, you'll think, oh my goodness, how on earth could you possibly cope for so long and for so many days, one after the other? And today happens to be the 30th day. And so the amazing thing is that it has this incredibly clearing effect on your body. It's almost like pressing the reset button. Your digestive system resets, your physical being resets. And actually, the other thing that you're meant to be doing in the month of Ramadan is giving to people who you know have less than you. So giving alms to the poor. And apparently, in the month of Ramadan, millions upon millions of pounds get donated. And I'm wondering how it is that we can create this amazing energy that happens all around the world in this month to spread it all around the year. Why do we need a particular month of the year or a particular day of the year, like, for instance, Christmas or around Christmas time, when we all feel like getting together or being nice to each other and giving each other gifts? Why we don't just do that every single day of our lives? Now, I know that sounds crazy. I'm not suggesting you go out and buy lots of people presents. I'm just suggesting little presents like smiling at somebody, like actually just calling somebody that you haven't called for a long time, or just saying some beautiful words like, "How are you this morning? You're looking absolutely fabulous." Think they're looking like, because you know that somehow that's going to help that person's energy, that's going to help that person's sense of being. So no matter how they're feeling in that particular moment, you could send them some really amazing, loving, healing, uplifting, energizing, caring, loving energy, whatever kind of energy you want to send. You're really capable of making a huge difference just in a few seconds. So just take a few seconds now and bring into your thoughts somebody you haven't spoken to for a long time, somebody that maybe you've fallen out with, somebody that for some reason you haven't been getting on very well with, somebody that for some reason you got upset with last time you spoke to, or they got upset with you. Whatever the reason is that you felt disconnected with them, just be letting go of that feeling right now and just send them love. Tell them you love them. And after the show, send them a message, give them a call, say hello. I just wanted to let you know that you were in my thoughts today, and I'm sending you lots of love, no matter where you are. I just thought that might be a nice way to start our afternoon, is just to send some loving, healing, supportive, caring energy all around the world. And you'd be amazed at the effect and the reaction that you will get from this. I know you do that on a regular basis, Marina, because whenever I speak to you, I always feel there's something really special that happens between us. Even if we're just chatting about the next show, we end up speaking for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and the energy that is created is just really awesome. And I love speaking to you. So tell me how you feel about sort of creating joint energy to make a difference in our lives and in the lives of others, and how you use it to go about your life every day.
Wow. And I could listen to you forever. I don't think I will need any water, any food. It will be the most, it is like fasting, you know,
Yeah.
when you declutter your mind of bad thought, which means bad energy. For me, I enjoy listening to you because you exude love. You are love. You are not falling in love with something or an idea or a person. You are love, and this is what this planet needs. And I think when Dalai Lama said that our world doesn't need uh, more professionals,
Mm-hmm.
our world needs more storytellers, because each day, each day is different when you have inspiration. And when you get inspired only from within. You get inspired to love more, to be more, to give more. And somebody said, I don't know who, but somebody said very long time ago that love is like oxygen.
Mm.
And it is, because love is energy, and energy is everything. And it is not something we can destroy.
Sure.
It is transferable. So it's taking different forms. And sometimes the love for something takes the wrong form
Mm-hmm.
and is sent across the wrong way to at the wrong time. And that makes, so, but originally there is nothing but love. Even us as human
Mm.
beings, we being created out of love. So there is no
Mm.
question about. And if you look at everything we have around us, if you walk um, outside in a nature and you look at the trees, you look at the grass, you look at the rocks, there is nothing that is not different. There is nothing that is not unique, and that's an act of love. Is the way is being created, and is the way love was transferred from one form to another. And
Right.
of course, there are different beliefs, and I respect and I celebrate every single type of love, because I think believing in something or somebody or is nothing but love. So when people believe in their God or in the universe or in energy, they're all actually referring to how much they love who they are. Because what I think it's obvious to me, at least, is that when people are praying for a miracle, they are one open mind away from the miracle, because the miracle is you.
Right. I'm with you entirely. My feeling is that any time we give love, it means that we have to create it somehow. And it's easy to create love when you feel love for yourself. And I know there are times when we don't feel love for ourselves, when maybe we've just done something and we didn't particularly like it. And it's okay, you know, it's okay to still love yourself, even if you've done something that wasn't what you quite intended right now. So my feeling is actually that every second of our lives is a perfect time to feel and to give love. And, you know, something I learned, and it was something that I was sharing with a client yesterday, that we have this big thing about being selfish, that somehow loving ourselves is being selfish. What I discovered, and I'm so happy that I discovered this, because, you know, when you constantly feel like you're giving and you're giving and you're not receiving, somehow you feel depleted. And yet actually truly loving yourself is about being open to receiving as well as giving. And it's the way your heart works. Your heart has to receive in order to give. Your heart receives the blood that it needs to that's deoxygenated, and it needs to put oxygen back in that blood to give back to the rest of the body. And so you actually need to be free to receive love in order to be expanding and giving love. So it's okay to receive love. This is actually a really unselfish act, because what you're doing is expanding love rather than somehow taking it away. So please receive love as much as you can, because the more you receive love, the more you expand your heart, the more love you have to give, the more energy you create in this world, and the easier it becomes to love each and every single person, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they've just said. Because like you and me, they're just a human being. They're afraid just like you and me. They might have a different way of manifesting their fear. It doesn't mean that they're any less of a human being than you or I. They're just afraid of being human. They're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of being mortal. And it's perfectly normal to be afraid, and it's okay. All we need to do is just accept it and say, okay, I get it. I'm scared. I'm accepting of it. I'm just a human being. I'm still accepting. I'm still loving myself. And I'm going to give love at every single moment that I have, because when I accept love, I'm giving love to myself, and I'm free to give it to other people. It's like a gift that never ends. And that's just awesome. It's constantly flowing. We're expanding the energy, you know. So rather than worrying about what slice of the cake am I going to get, what I'm doing is just expanding the cake all the time, and there's more and there's more and there's more of it. So just open yourself to loving yourself completely, no matter how you feel, No matter what you look like, no matter what you've just done or not done, no matter what you've just said or not said, just be open to loving yourself completely and letting go of whatever's just happened. Because when you love yourself completely, that's when miracles truly happen. Miracles don't come from the outside, they come from the inside. And I believe that's what you were just saying, Marina, that if you want a miracle, you are a miracle. And that's how you were created. You were created unique. That's miraculous enough in itself. So when you realize you are the miracle of love, and inside you is an abundance of love and expansion and capability and capacity. It's when we don't love ourselves that we feel short of something, short of capability. You know, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to say this? Am I good enough to be this person? Yes, you are. You're not only good enough, you're a miracle. And so just be letting go of any idea that you're short of anything. Just be confident that you are uniquely miraculous. And no matter what is going on in your life, just be accepting and loving of who you are. And you will find it so easy to be loving and accepting of anyone and everyone else. And that's how I believe we create the awesome world that we all want to live in. We start with ourselves. We start by just giving ourselves love, accepting ourselves, no matter what has just happened. Just do it and you will feel extraordinary, and you will help other people to feel extraordinary too. Is that how you're feeling, Marina? That's why I love speaking to you, Marina, because no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what was going on before, I just get to focus on how I feel and how I want to help enable other people to feel, and how easy it is to reach that point, no matter how challenging you might have thought it was just a second ago. Just let go of all of those things that have you feeling believing that it's hard. Just be letting go of it. It doesn't matter what you've just said to yourself. It's hard. I know it can be really tough. It's challenging. I know it can be really challenging. Every time you hear yourself and you feel yourself saying any of those things, just say, I get it. I'm a human being. I'm accepting of it. I know I'm scared. I know why I'm scared, because I'm just human and it's fine. I'm letting go of it and I'm loving myself and accepting myself anyway. And you will find miracles start there. Every single moment of your life, you can make that choice. Just make it. I love every single one of you, even if I've never met you, even if I never see you, no matter who you are, no matter how.
Hello, Aen. I was thinking that I don't know if we lost connection or you stopped speaking, but I want you to know that you always inspire me to think beyond the point of right now and create the next moment in my life with refreshed powers and an open mind about where I'm going, what's next. And I think for me, the difference starts manifesting when people at my first book launch back 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, I was in Canada, and everybody was telling me beautiful things, and I felt surrounded by love, and I almost couldn't take it anymore. It was such an explosion of love, or I never experienced before, where before that moment in my life, I was giving love all the time. I never even considered of receiving love. I was the only adult in my life. And of course, it was difficult to even understand that receiving love is as important as giving love. But at that point, somebody realized I was blushing and I was so embarrassed when everybody was praising me and showing me their love and their gratitude for what I was giving them. And somebody turned around and said, Marina, you have to receive love. And I realized that I don't know how. Anyway, about the same time, somebody said to me, um, why don't you look into your DNA? And I done that, and I was quite surprised to see that my roots were spread over a few continents. And later this year, early this year, actually, you know that question, where are you coming from? Which I like to read, where are you going? But of course, first you have to understand where you are coming from. Um,
I've just rejoined you, Marina. Sorry
Brilliant.
for that.
Yes. Just to wrap up what I was saying about the DNA. So
Yeah.
early this year, some friends of mine, they were talking about their DNA results, and they are born and bred here, so they are English, and
Mm-hmm.
they never thought they could be anything else but English. Anyway, when the
Right.
DNA came back, they realized that they are only 50% English.
Right.
They were in total shock. So, just shows that when you start looking inside, when you realize that actually everybody is a migrant human
Mm-hmm.
being. Every single person you meet, every single person you know is a migrant. And all there is to it, you migrate from a place of joy or from a place of pain into a place of power. And I think the difference between coming from a place of pain or a place of joy, it's is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are coming from a place of pain, you don't accept who you are. You want to become somebody else. But when you are
Right.
coming from a place of joy, means that you already understand your worth. You already understand that you have the same divine essence like anybody else in the world, but it's different. And what makes you different is a decision to use your divine essence or not, to master your true natural gift or not. And by saying that, I'm saying deciding to become love. And it's very interesting how once you realize how joyful you could be inside with no reason, how happy you could be. And I don't know if you ever listen to Me Time show. We have a show that is run by Adrian Marks back in
Mm-hmm.
United Kingdom, and she masters the me time. She helps you master the me time.
Right.
And
Yes.
she used to say all the time, and it's so true, that happiness is an inside job. And by extension, I
Mm.
could say now that love is an inside job. You can't expect love from the world unless you bring love into the world. You can't expect.
Marina,
Yes,
is it okay if I talk about my book? I
yes, please.
wrote a
I was
book.
about to ask you actually, because there is
I
something there that we really need to hear.
I um I actually dreamt the major scene in the first novel that I wrote, and it's about a young girl who gets caught in a major flood. It's a worldwide flood. She wakes up beached, clinging to the back of an upturned boat. She doesn't remember how it happened. She doesn't even remember her name. And she has to start from scratch. And it's about her life and how she helps transforms people's lives and the difference between the people who survived with nothing and the people who survived with some of their past and their possessions intact. And how she, because she had to start from nothing, she was just so close to everything that she was from the inside because she has nothing from the outside to hold on to. And it was her extraordinary journey and the transformative effect that she had on other people from the inside. And the interesting thing is, when I started writing this book, although I had this concept that it was going to be a book of coming from a challenging place, a place of possible distraction, to a place of feeling absolutely amazing and a place of transformation, I didn't actually have initially where that place was going to come from until I woke up one morning. I knew exactly what the major scene in the book was. I didn't actually know what the rest of the story was going to be. And when I started writing the story about this young girl, I used to start crying, actually, because I would realize, oh my goodness, I know what's going to happen next. And I remember feeling sometimes, who's writing this book? I felt like the book was being written through me. And the book just kept on creating itself as if it was this extraordinary journey. And it was my journey of healing. And it was just an amazing journey. And I would love other people to read this book, because I feel like I was made to carry this message to the world, to help people realize who they truly are on the inside, and how where they start from who they are on the inside, they create something absolutely extraordinary. The reason why we're afraid is because we're afraid that we're not good enough on the inside, so we're too scared to go there. And actually, human beings on the inside, when we take away our fears and we take away our ego, because our ego only exists to attempt to outbalance our fears. If we weren't afraid, we don't need our ego, and we can just create these extraordinary things. So I would love you to read my book. I would love you to feel what I felt when I wrote the book, and every day when I'm speaking to clients and I'm telling them about chapters in the book as I'm speaking to them, and I suddenly remember something I wrote in the book, and I think, oh my goodness, I think I wrote this book for this piece in my book just for this client, just to get this message to this particular person. So please find it. It's on Amazon. If you're in the UK anywhere, I'd be happy to sign it for you. It's called Wadi, W-A-D-I. It means valley in Arabic, because the major scene in the book is in a place called Valley of the Whales, where they found thousands of whalebone skeletons. It used to be a seabed, and that's where the major scene of the story is. I wrote it in my maiden name, Aen Hussein. So Aen is spelled A-E-N rather than A-N-N. It's A-E-N. I know that's unusual. And then Hussein, H-U-S-S-E-I-N. So that's Wadi by Aen Hussein. And if anybody out there reads it for the first time after listening to this, I would love you to connect with me, please. You can find me on Facebook as Aen Turner. Let me know what you think about the book, and I'd be very happy to meet you and sign a book and write you a personal message.
Wow. And I think there is so much love in within you, and you are carrying this message for each one of us in a different way. And I almost feel that that Greek soldier who are carrying the good news from Marathon to Athens, and you cannot do or be anything else unless you deliver the message. And I feel this urgency that is coming from your love, and is creating this flow of energy for our listeners, because it is not about you, and definitely is not about me. It's about the listener who needs a certain message, a certain way of connecting with what's next for them. Because I think love is not very much about where you are coming from, but it's very much about where you are going. From both of us, until next time, please go to Amazon. Please send your messages, your questions for your next show with Aen, and just let us know what impact the book that Aen wrote for you is making on your life, because certainly is making a huge impact on mine. From both of us, goodbye.
Goodbye. Lots of love. Thank you, Marina.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.